Welcome to my exciting new video series exploring the world of religions. In this installment, we will learn about Zoroastrianism. Despite its relative obscurity today, it is one of the most influential religions in world history. By the end of this video, you'll have a comprehensive understanding of this fascinating faith. Please note that I am not a religious researcher, theologian, or specialist in Zoroastrianism. I am an enthusiast with a passion for reading and learning about various religions and philosophies. If you are interested, check out my other videos. So, let's begin our objective and informative learning on Zoroastrianism. I hope you enjoy watching it. Zoroastrianism is the ancient religion of Iran and one of the oldest religions still in existence, with followers that have profoundly influenced the course of history, including the Abrahamic religions such as Judaism, Islam, and Christianity, and Greek philosophy. However, it now has only about 100,000 followers, a fraction of the millions it once had. But what exactly is Zoroastrianism? What do Zoroastrians believe? Let's find out together. Zoroastrianism is a dualistic and essentially monotheistic religion that originated in ancient Iran around the 6th or 7th century BC. During this period, a prophet named Zarathustra, or Zoroaster, as the ancient Greeks called him, lived in the Near Eastern region. While the religion is known as Zoroastrianism, its followers, or Zoroastrians, usually refer to themselves as Mazdayasna, which means worshippers of Mazda. You might associate the name Mazda with the Japanese car brand, and that's because the car brand's name was inspired by this religion. In many respects, the original religion of Iran shows similarities with Indian religions, mainly Hinduism, particularly in the observance of rituals, though it differs significantly in essence. Zoroastrianism shares the dualistic, monotheistic view of the Abrahamic religions, but precedes them, making it one of the most important philosophies of life in world history, grounded in strong ethical foundations. Zoroastrianism was the leading religion of Iran for over 1,000 years. Let's examine its chronology and development, placing the religion's path in time. From the 6th and 7th centuries BC, it was the state religion of three Iranian empires. The first is the Achaemenid Empire, which ruled from 550 to 330 BC, ending with the death of Xerxes. Yes, this is the Xerxes who fought in the famous Battle of Thermopylae against the Hellenic allies, mainly the Spartans, depicted in the movie 300. The second is the Parthian Empire, which ruled from 247 BC to 224 AD. They began mixing and innovating religious beliefs, forming transitions with Indian and Hellenic philosophies. Worship places were divided into fire temples and unique temples dedicated to Yazatas, which we will discuss later. The third is the Sasanian Empire, existing from 224 AD to 651 AD. They introduced new forms of worship, and during this period, Zoroastrianism came into conflict with Christianity, which was newly founded then. This ideological war, especially with the rise of Christianity in the Roman Empire, further shaped the religion. Due to various conquests and destructions, the sacred documents of Zoroastrianism began to be destroyed. Over time, Zoroastrians felt increasingly compelled to collect and reconstruct their religious texts to preserve their unity. We will discuss why this was necessary and how most of the sacred documents were destroyed. The reshaping of the religious framework was carried out by the priests, known as Magis, or magicians. The term magic originates from the names of these Zoroastrian priests, as the ancient Greeks believed they possessed secret magical knowledge due to their understanding of complex astronomy. The Zoroastrian priests, or Magis, were highly respected and eventually amassed considerable wealth through donations. They exercised power through money, forming the basis of the religious empire. The highest-ranking Magis were called Mobeds. The term Mobed is a contraction of the Old Persian word Magupati. Zoroastrian magicians also appear in the Bible. According to the Gospel of Matthew, 3 Zoroastrian magicians, sometimes translated as 3 kings or wise men from the east, visited Bethlehem to see the newborn Jesus. The Sasanian Empire fell to the Muslim Arabs in AD 651, leading to the decline of Zoroastrianism due to severe persecution. In the 10th century, some Iranian Zoroastrians fled to India, founding the Parsi community, named after their origin. This refugee group now forms the largest group of Zoroastrians. Interestingly, the Tata Group, India's largest company, was founded by Zoroastrians, who played a significant role in India's independence from Great Britain. Although not numerous, Zoroastrians are now found worldwide. Throughout history, followers of the religion migrated to areas such as Singapore, Hong Kong, and parts of Africa, including the island of Zanzibar. Notably, Freddie Mercury's Parsi parents, who later emigrated to the United Kingdom, came from here. Smaller Zoroastrian groups have also moved to the UK, US, Australia, and Canada in the past century. Thus, it can be said that the ancient Iranian religion is a relatively recent phenomenon in Western countries. Currently, there are approximately 100,000 Zoroastrian believers worldwide. About 60,000 of them live in India, while the second largest group, around 25,000, resides in Iran. Now let's talk about the history of the religion. We don't know much about the life of Zoroaster, the religion's founder, and we cannot determine exactly when he lived. According to Zoroastrian tradition, he was born approximately 258 years before Greek Emperor Alexander the Great conquered Persepolis, the capital of the Achaemenian dynasty of Persia, which happened in 330 BCE. Therefore, his birth likely occurred around 628 BCE. Additionally, when Zoroaster converted King Vishtaspa in 588 BCE, he was 40 years old. During this time, the Iranian peoples worshipped many gods, some similar to ancient Hindu deities. Zoroaster was originally a priest of the pre-Zoroastrian religion in Iran and was deeply indignant at the society of his time. Bands of drunken warriors often ravaged rural villages, robbing, torturing, and slaughtering people at will. The common people lived in constant fear and misery, while priests focused on obscure rituals and sacrifices that offered little guidance or hope to the suffering faithful. Zoroaster could not bear these injustices. According to legend, at age 30 while fetching water for a ceremony from a nearby river, he received a vision from Ahura Mazda, or Wise Lord, a being of pure light and goodness who revealed himself as the one true God. During this vision, Ahura Mazda revealed the workings of the universe and profound truths, which led Zoroaster to become the prophet of Ahura Mazda, tasked with teaching these truths to the people. Let's explore the fundamental pillars of this religion. 1. Dualism, Ahura Mazda, and Angra Mainyu, the continuous war between good and evil forces. The concepts of Asha and Druj define Zoroastrian cosmology, that is, the Avestan worldview. Ahura Mazda stood as the custodian and personification of a principle known as Asha, embodying the harmony and structure of the universe, while also symbolizing moral virtues such as righteousness and justice. Contrarily, the antithesis to Asha is represented by a concept termed Druj, which encapsulates notions of evil, falsehood, and violence. These opposing forces were not brought into existence by Ahura Mazda, but rather by another immortal entity known as Angra Mainyu, or the malevolent spirit. In the teachings of Zarathustra, the cosmos is depicted as an eternal battleground, where the principles of Asha and Druj engage in ceaseless conflict, representing the eternal struggle between good and evil, light and darkness. Good people are Ashavant, while bad people are Dregvant. Asha represents good, light, and truth, while Druj symbolizes evil, darkness, and lies. Aristotle, a Greek philosopher of the 4th century BC, described and interpreted the Zoroastrian dualistic view, referring to Ahura Mazda as Zeus and Angra Mainyu as Hades. He greatly admired the religion and recognized its ancient truths. Zoroastrians worship a single uncreated and eternal god called Ahura Mazda, meaning Wise Lord. Zoroaster describes Ahura Mazda as the Lord of Order, perfectly good, loving, infinitely wise, and the creator of the universe and all that is good. Ahura Mazda is supported by 6 holy immortals, known as the Amesha Spentas. The best way to understand the role of the 6 holy immortals is to compare them to Christianity's archangels. However, some interpretations suggest they are manifestations of Ahura Mazda. One of them, Vohumana, represents goodness or charity. Believers say this power guides people in the right direction and keeps them on the correct path. However, the role of the benevolent spirit, like the six holy Immortals, is not entirely clear. Whether it is a separate entity or a manifestation of Ahura Mazda himself remains unknown. It is interesting that, according to certain Zoroastrian ideas, even Ahura Mazda has a superior or father figure called Zurvan. Zurvan is considered the embodiment of time itself, which, in the Zoroastrian worldview, is the highest concept of existence. However, this theory, known as Zurvanism, is not a canonical interpretation and is considered heretical by many Zoroastrians. This is similar to how Christians view the teachings of the Gnostic Gospels, which I will discuss in a separate video. According to Zurvanism, Ahura Mazda and Angra Mainyu are equal entities that emerged from or were born of Zurvan. In addition to Zurvanism, there is also Mazdakism, a communist social movement with unique insights. These and other contradictory explanations will be presented separately in future videos. The various branches of Zoroastrianism have the right to exist due to the religion's ancient origins, which provide fertile ground for diverse interpretations. In this video, I aim to explain the most common beliefs and foundations of Zoroastrian faith. However, you may encounter different interpretations on certain topics due to this diversity. Now, let's delve back into the first and most important doctrine of Zoroastrianism, the continuous war between good and evil forces. Opposite Ahura Mazda is Angra Mainyu, the destructive spirit, and his evil minions, the Ahrimans. They function similarly to the demons of Christianity. It's important to note that Angra Mainyu himself is Ahriman, or the main Ahriman. Additionally, there are the Devas and Ahuras, not to be confused with the Devas and Ahuras of Buddhism, as they play opposite roles. In Zoroastrianism, Devas are spirits with evil motives, while Ahuras are spirits with good motives. In Zoroastrianism, Angra Mainyu stands as the antithesis to Ahura Mazda, embodying darkness, evil, death, and corruption. He epitomizes destruction, aiming to dismantle Ahura Mazda's creation, which encompasses all that is beautiful and good. Responsible for the world's adversities, Angra Mainyu stands in stark contrast to Ahura Mazda's essence of perfect light and creation. While Ahura Mazda represents creation, Angra Mainyu assumes the role of destruction. Ahura Mazda's creations include light, fire, joy, and symbolically, compact and sustainable Japanese cars, whereas Angra Mainyu's influence manifests as darkness, sorrow, and death. Zoroastrianism views life as a perpetual struggle between these two opposing forces, where individuals hold the agency to align themselves with either. The core dichotomy lies between truth and falsehood, with Angra Mainyu complicating matters through the relativity of existence, where facets of life embody both extremes. Before the advent of time, Ahura Mazda and Angra Mainyu dwelled in boundless expanses of light and darkness. With the emergence of the physical realm, the visible, tangible, and material dimension of the world, known as the Gitaig world, imperfection became prevalent. Angra Mainyu infiltrated this realm, tarnishing it by salting the oceans, creating deserts, initiating death, withering vegetation, and polluting fire. Today, humanity resides in Gumezish, or the Age of Mixture, characterized by free will and the coexistence of good and evil, truth and lies. However, this state is transient. Angra Mainyu's tenure is finite, viewed as a temporary affliction rather than a permanent dilemma. Zoroastrians perceive the physical realm as a trap devised by Ahura Mazda to capture Angra Mainyu, with the latter's influence waning against the collective positivity propagated by individuals aligned with Ahura Mazda. While some Zoroastrian concepts are deemed heretical, such as the notion of Zurvan, the concept of Yazatas presents another avenue for inquiry, challenging the entrenched dualistic worldview. Yazatas are revered entities within Zoroastrianism, including figures like Mithra and Anahita, whom adherents worship alongside Ahura Mazda. Whether these beings are gods in the conventional sense, or angelic spirits elevated to this esteemed status, remains uncertain. Nonetheless, Zoroastrianism, often regarded as a precursor to monotheistic religions, presents an intriguing paradox. The religion's foundational texts, constituting a significant portion of its literature, have been lost over time, rendering the original cosmology and connections ambiguous and, in some cases, incomprehensible. Consequently, Zoroastrianism may be classified as henotheistic, acknowledging a singular deity while also legitimizing other divine beings. The second pillar is regarding the concept of the afterlife. Zoroastrians believe that human souls transition from a higher state, known as Fravashi, to physical existence on Earth, to undergo experiences and accumulate knowledge. The religion's symbolic representation, the winged human-like figure, epitomizes the Fravashi entity. Upon death, the soul embarks on a journey to the Bridge of Judgment. Positioned above this bridge lies heaven, while hell resides below. Here, the soul's deeds are weighed, determining its ultimate destination. Analogous to other faiths, one's earthly conduct influences the width of the bridge. Virtuous deeds widen it, while malevolent acts narrow its path. Depending on the balance of good and evil, the soul may ascend to heaven, the realm of eternal bliss, also known as the abode of songs. Alternatively, it may plummet into hell, referred to as Duzak, or the house of lies, where anguish, darkness, and lamentations prevail. A middle ground exists for those morally neutral, where sensory deprivation envelops them in silence and apathy. Zoroaster emphasized that social status or wealth does not determine entry into paradise. Rather, it is one's ethical conduct that dictates their fate. For Zoroastrians, death represents the utmost contamination, attributed to Angra Mainyu's influence. Upon death, the soul detaches from the body, a concept observed during Zoroastrian funerals, where a priest officiates the ceremony. Family members bid farewell without physical contact with the body, which is then laid on a stone slab and carried by designated pallbearers. Due to the perceived impurity of corpses, Zoroastrians refrain from contaminating natural elements like fire, water, and earth with them. Hence, they have traditionally employed Tower of Silence burial methods. These towers, situated atop desolate hills with open roofs, serve as sites where bodies are placed on stone slabs for vultures to consume. Subsequently, the remaining bones bleach under the sun and swiftly decompose into dust. By offering their bodies to birds, the deceased perform a final act of charity before transitioning beyond the mortal realm. However, governmental restrictions in Iran during the 1930s and a decline in vulture populations in India due to urbanization and environmental pollution have led contemporary Zoroastrians to opt for communal burial grounds, electric cremation, or solar reflectors to expedite the disintegration of corpses using sunlight. The third pillar is apocalypse. Regarding the apocalypse, Zoroastrians envision an enduring conflict between Ahura Mazda and Angra Mainyu, culminating in the advent of Saoshyant, a savior born of a virgin mother. Saoshyant, translating to bringer of justice, leads humanity against evil forces, heralding the end times. During this cataclysmic event, Earth will be engulfed in flames, molten metal will blanket the land, and the righteous will traverse this river of molten metal, while the wicked perish within it, undergoing purification. The gates of hell will open, releasing and redeeming souls, leading to an era of eternal happiness, particularly for those residing in the third space. Ultimately, Angra Mainyu's defeat by Ahura Mazda's benevolence will consign it to eternal oblivion, marking the culmination of the final judgment, or philosophies, signifying the renewal of Ahura Mazda's pristine creation. 4. In Zoroastrianism, the foundational principle of Humata, Hukhta, Hvareshta, encapsulates the essence of virtuous living, good thought, good word, and good deed. Zarathustra taught ethical living based on 3 core principles. As mentioned before, human beings play a significant role in this cosmic struggle, akin to the benevolent deities, with a duty to uphold righteousness and virtue while combating evil and darkness in the world. This responsibility is fulfilled through various means, primarily by adhering to the fundamental moral precept established by Zarathustra, fostering good thoughts, speaking good words, and performing good deeds. The main purpose of humans in creation is to expel evil until the third or final phase is achieved. This process is called separation. On the reverence for Ahura Mazda, Zoroastrians hold Asha in profound esteem, an ancient Avestan term embodying truth, wisdom, goodness, justice, perfection, order, and progress. Asha delineates the divine path set forth by Ahura Mazda, which adherents endeavor to follow diligently. To facilitate adherence to Asha, Ahura Mazda bestowed upon humanity Vohumana, or good mind, granting the capacity to discern between right and wrong. Endowed with free will by virtue of the good mind, Zoroastrians view this as the ultimate gift, pivotal to their belief system. A virtuous mind engenders virtuous thoughts, which, in turn, find expression in virtuous words and deeds. Central to Zoroastrian faith, these pillars of Humata, Hukhta, Hvareshta are regarded as paramount human manifestations. Engaging in acts of kindness, community involvement, supporting those in need, combating injustice and poverty, tending to the sick, and fostering education are integral to the ongoing battle against Angra Mainyu. Consequently, Zoroastrians are renowned for their support of orphanages, shelters, and various charitable endeavors, guided by the principle articulated by Zoroaster: happiness comes to those who bring happiness to others. 5. Fire holds profound significance for Zoroastrians, symbolizing the sacred essence of Ahura Mazda and representing purity and truth. Rituals within Zoroastrian fire temples are conducted before fire, believed to ensure the presence of Ahura Mazda. It's crucial to note that, while fire is integral to their worship, Zoroastrians don't worship it. Rather, they perceive it as a conduit. Zoroastrianism doesn't involve congregational worship. Instead, rituals are conducted within homes, behind closed doors. Fire temples, or atashkas, are visited typically during the 7 holy days observed annually. The custodians of these fires, known as Ararvaksha or Magis, held significant ideological influence in the religion's early stages, though the notion of them being fire worshippers stemmed largely from misinterpretation, particularly by Muslim communities. Mithra, a prominent Yazata, represents the divine personification of fire in Zoroastrian belief, while water, though not as emphasized, holds substantial importance. Anahita, personifying water, is also revered as a divine entity deserving of worship. Temples dedicated to Mithra and Anahita underscore their central roles within Zoroastrian cosmology, although they are not considered equal to the almighty Ahura Mazda. 6. The Avesta stands as both a language and the revered scripture of Zoroastrianism, tracing its origins to the ancient Avestan language spoken by Zoroaster himself. Its development spans various historical periods, evolving from Old Avestan, 1500 to 1100 BC, to New Avestan, 1100-500 BC, transitioning through the Old Persian language, 500-300 BC, and Middle Persian Pahlavi language, 300 BC, 1000 AD, eventually culminating in the New Persian language, 1000 AD, present. Integral to the Zoroastrian worldview are documents like the Bundahashan and Denkard, penned in Middle Persian during the rise of Islam. These texts expound upon a cosmic drama between good and evil, institutionalizing the dualistic concept pivotal to the religion's cosmology. Central to Zoroastrianism, the Avesta stands as one of the world's oldest religious scriptures, comprising diverse texts in various styles. These include the Zend Avesta, containing divine revelations, the Yasna with its sacrificial songs, the Vendidad addressing matters of purity, and the Visperd presenting responsive hymns. Notably, the Avesta features the Gathas, 17 profound hymns embodying Zoroastrian teachings and moral guidance. Despite hymns and prayers honoring divine beings found within parts of the Yashts, these entities are not objects of worship, but subjects of reverence. Unfortunately, due to conflicts, political upheavals, and religious strife, much of the Avesta has been lost to history, leaving only a fraction extant today. Regrettably, without copies of the lost portions, their reconstruction remains an impossibility. Zoroastrians recount a somber chapter in history when Alexander the Great's conquest of the Achaemenid Empire purportedly led to the destruction of the royal palace in Persepolis, along with its library housing the sacred Avesta documents. Legend has it that the original Avesta, inscribed on 12,000 goatskins adorned with molten gold, suffered irreparable harm during this tumultuous period. While the ideological significance of the original Avesta remains immeasurable, the financial toll exacted by Alexander's actions cannot be disregarded. This enduring legacy has contributed to Alexander being remembered as Alexander the Cursed in Iran. Despite the existence of copies of these sacred texts, subsequent invasions by Arab, Turkish, and Mongol forces resulted in further losses, exacerbating the preservation challenge faced by Zoroastrianism. Among the illustrious figures in Zoroastrian history stands Cyrus the Great, founder of the Achaemenid Empire, renowned for his magnanimity and justice. His decree allowing the Jews to return from Babylon earned him a place in biblical narratives, illustrating the religious tolerance characteristic of Zoroastrian rulers and reshaping world history. The etymology of the word paradise, denoting heaven, traces back to the ancient Iranian language, Paradisa, with Zoroastrians being among the first to conceptualize it in history. Turning to religious practices, the centerpiece of Zoroastrian liturgy is the yasna, an elaborate ritual conducted by Magi priests each morning in fire temples. Lasting several hours, this intricate ceremony involves the preparation of a sacred drink and the offering of animal sacrifices, alongside the use of butter, bread, and water. Hymns and sacred texts are recited aloud as part of the liturgy. The term yasna not only refers to the act of worship, but also to the sacred text upon which the ceremony is based, comprising 72 sections, including the revered Gathas, authored by Zoroaster himself. In addition to the yasna, Zoroastrians observe 5 daily prayers, a fundamental practice requiring believers to cleanse themselves through bathing, with particular attention to the face, hands, and feet. Holding a sacred cord, they focus their gaze upon it while offering prayers to Ahura Mazda. Although this ritual lasts only a few minutes, it holds paramount importance for adherents. Beyond these daily prayers, Zoroastrianism encompasses various other liturgical practices, including communal festivities and joint worship on select occasions throughout the year. Zoroastrianism stands as one of history's most significant and influential religions. However, its decline began with the Muslim invasion during the Sassanid Empire, exacerbated by subsequent Mongol incursions. While legendary accounts may not depict dramatic battles, the profound societal upheaval resulting from immense financial and social losses led to the disintegration of the once vibrant religious culture. Although Zoroastrianism endures to this day, it struggles against political and religious oppression, hindering its widespread proliferation. Thus, this ancient and profound religion, with its intricate complexities, remains somewhat lost amidst the annals of time. I trust this overview provided insight and deepened your understanding of Zoroastrianism. If you have further questions, feel free to ask, and let's continue this discussion in the comments. What do you think? Is Zoroastrianism a monotheistic or a dualistic faith? And do you think it will survive into the future? I'll see you next time.